Have you ever looked at something so out of place? It just makes you question everything. Well, get ready, because today we're diving deep into a mystery that has stumped historians and archaeologists for decades. We're traveling to the heart of Cambodia, to the magnificent temple complex of Angkor Wat, and specifically to a smaller, but no less fascinating temple called Ta Prohm. Most people know Ta Prohm as the Tomb Raider temple, with its iconic giant trees strangling the ancient stone walls. It's an incredible sight, a true testament to the power of nature reclaiming civilization. But hidden among these stunning ruins, etched into a stone column, is a carving that simply shouldn't be there. It's a depiction of a stegosaurus. Yes, you heard that right. A stegosaurus. The dinosaur with the big plates on its back and the spiky tail, which, according to everything we know from science, went extinct about 65 million years ago. The Temple of Ta Prohm, on the other hand, was built in the late 12th and early 13th centuries, part of the Khmer Empire under King Jayavarman VII. That's a gap of, well, 65 million years. So, how on earth did a 12th century Khmer artisan carve a remarkably accurate image of a dinosaur? Let's take a closer look at this carving. It's located on a column near the southern entrance of the temple's central sanctuary. It's part of a series of circular medallions, each depicting a different animal. You'll find carvings of monkeys, swans, water buffaloes, perennial creatures you'd expect to find in the Cambodian jungle. And then, there it is. The odd one out. An animal with a distinct, stocky body, 4 legs, and a row of prominent plates running down its back. It doesn't have the classic spiky tail or that we often see in modern reconstructions, but the overall shape is undeniably familiar. It looks exactly like our popular image of a stegosaurus. So what's the deal? This is where the debate really heats up, and there are a few competing theories. Let's break them down. The most exciting and controversial theory is that ancient Khmer people actually saw a living, breathing dinosaur. Proponents of this idea, often from young Earth creationist circles, argue that this carving is proof that humans and dinosaurs coexisted. They suggest that perhaps a small, isolated population of these creatures survived extinction and lived in the dense, unexplored jungles of Cambodia. The artisan, they say, simply carved what he saw, just like he carved the water buffalo and the monkey. It's a mind-blowing thought, isn't it? Imagine ancient explorers venturing into the deep jungle and coming face to face with a creature from a lost world. It sounds like a script for a Hollywood movie. But for most scientists and historians, this theory is a huge stretch. The fossil record is pretty clear. Nonavian dinosaurs died out long before humans ever walked the earth. There is absolutely no credible fossil evidence of dinosaurs surviving into the historical era. If a creature as large as a stegosaurus was roaming around, you'd expect more than just one ambiguous carving. We'd likely have skeletal remains, more depictions in art, or at least stories and legends passed down through generations. And we have none of that. So, if it's not a real dinosaur, what else could it be? This brings us to the second theory, which is the one favored by most mainstream archaeologists. They argue that the carving is not a stegosaurus at all, but a known animal that has been misinterpreted. The most common candidate is a rhinoceros. Ancient rhinos in Southeast Asia, particularly the Sumatran or Javan rhino, have thick, folded skin that could, with a bit of artistic license, be stylized into a series of plates. The head of the carving is quite indistinct, which doesn't help, but it could be a rhino with its head down. Another suggestion is that it's a wild boar, known for the coarse bristles that stand up along its spine when it's agitated. Or perhaps a chameleon, which has a crest along its back. The problem with these explanations is that the carving doesn't look much like a rhino or a boar either. Rhinos don't have plates in a neat row, and the body shape is all wrong. A boar is even less convincing. And a chameleon, the proportions are completely off. The carving depicts a large, bulky animal, not a small reptile. And here's another interesting point to consider. The plates on its back are framed by a decorative leafy border. This has led some to suggest that the plates aren't part of the animal at all. The theory goes that the carving is of a known animal, maybe a rhino or a buffalo, but it's just standing in front of some background foliage, like large leaves or palm fronds. Our modern eyes, so accustomed to seeing images of dinosaurs, are tricking us into interpreting these background shapes as plates on the animal's back. It's a classic case of pareidolia, the same psychological phenomenon that makes us see faces in clouds or on Mars. We see what we expect to see, or what we want to see. This is a plausible explanation. The carving is weathered and not very detailed. Our brains are hardwired to find patterns, and since the shape vaguely resembles a stegosaurus, our minds fill in the blanks. We project our knowledge of dinosaurs onto this ancient, ambiguous image. It's a very rational, scientific explanation. But is it the right one? Many people who have seen the carving in person say it really doesn't look like a rhino with leaves behind it. The plates seem to be an integral part of the animal's anatomy in the carving. This leads us to a third, and perhaps even more intriguing possibility. What if the ancient Khmer people didn't see a live dinosaur, but they found its fossilized remains? Cambodia and the surrounding regions are known to have dinosaur fossils. It's entirely possible that during quarrying operations for the temple's stone blocks, or maybe, just by chance, workers stumbled upon a partially exposed stegosaurus skeleton. Imagine their confusion and awe. They would have no concept of extinction or paleontology. To them, it would be the skeleton of a mythical beast, a dragon, or a divine creature. A skilled artisan, tasked with decorating the temple with images of the animal kingdom, might have been asked to recreate this incredible monster in stone based on the fossil bones. This would explain the general accuracy of the shape that plated back.
The four-legged stance, while also explaining the inaccuracies, like the lack of a spiky tail or the indistinct head.
The artist would be working from an incomplete skeleton and using their imagination to fill in the rest. This theory neatly bridges the gap. It doesn't require dinosaurs and humans to have lived at the same time, but it also acknowledges that the carving is too specific to be a simple misidentification of a rhino. It suggests the Khmer people had a form of paleontological knowledge discovered through direct observation of the fossil record. This idea is fascinating because it opens up a whole new perspective on the knowledge and experiences of ancient civilizations. It reminds us that they weren't just farmers and builders. They were curious observers of the natural world, encountering mysteries just as we do today. But like all the other theories, this one isn't without its problems. If they found a fossil, why is there only one carving? Such a monumental discovery would surely have inspired more art, more stories, more legends. Why hide this single depiction away on a column among dozens of other ordinary animals? It doesn't seem to be given any special prominence. And there is one final, more cynical theory that we have to address. The possibility of a hoax. Could the carving be a modern addition? Ta Prohm has undergone extensive restoration work over the past century. It's conceivable that a prankster, a restorer with a sense of humor, could have carved the stegosaurus in modern times to fool tourists and create a myth. Some people point to the fact that the carving appears to be a slightly different color and texture from the stone around it, suggesting it might be newer. However, most experts who have examined the carving have dismissed this idea. They argue that the weathering and patina on the stegosaurus are consistent with the surrounding carvings that are undisputedly 800 years old. Faking that kind of aging is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Furthermore, the first reports of this strange carving date back many decades, long before the Jurassic Park craze made dinosaurs a global pop culture phenomenon. For example, it was mentioned in travel guides from the 1970s. So, a modern hoax seems unlikely. So where does that leave us? We have a carving that looks like a stegosaurus. It could be evidence of surviving dinosaurs, a misidentified rhino with a leafy background, a reconstruction based on a fossil find, or a very clever old hoax. The truth is, nobody knows for sure. Each theory has its strengths and its fatal flaws, and that's what makes the Ta Prohm stegosaurus so captivating. It's a genuine historical enigma, a tiny detail in a vast temple complex that challenges our assumptions about the past. It forces us to ask, what did the ancient Khmer people know? What did they see? Is it possible our understanding of history is incomplete? This single carving serves as a powerful reminder that the past is not a closed book. It's a place still full of secrets and puzzles waiting to be solved. It invites us to keep an open mind, to question, and to wonder. What do you think? Did ancient Cambodians party with dinosaurs? Or is it just a weird-looking rhino? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more enigmas from the past, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.